In this lesson, we're going to deal with these building and designing tables. Very useful, practical. We use them in web design a lot. I use them for a variety of things. Now, place your insertion point where it is you'd like to begin, and then you go to Insert, and then Table, and then you get this little diagram here. And this simply is telling you, and I'm getting a preview on my screen there of what this table would look like. So I'm asking for 3 rows and 6 cells. So if I wanted like 6 rows and 4, I would just put my mouse where it is I want it for 6 and 4. And then when you click your mouse, your table comes in. And each cell is identified. I have my show hide on now. So the cells are identified with this little circle looking object. And to go from one cell to another, your tab key works beautifully. Okay, so that just lets you jump from one cell to another. If you go to the very last cell in the table and you hit your tab key, you will get a brand new row. Now, with my table selected, I now have 2 new tabs out here. I have Design and Layout. Okay, so those 2 tabs are dedicated to tables only. We're going to spend this lesson working on layout. We're going to learn how to make it, and then we'll spend the next table lesson on making it pretty. So we'll work with design in the next one. A lot of neat little things that you can do with a table, starting with this layout. Now, both of these toolbars go away, of course, as soon as you click back into your regular document. So because I don't have my table selected now, I don't have any of those options available. If you want your table toolbar back, you'll have to select your table. Now, the only way to select your table, or the best, smartest way to select your table is, first of all, put your mouse on it. Once you've got your mouse on it, okay, somewhere in it, you'll notice that this little icon shows up, and that one does. As soon as I move my mouse away, those icons disappear. So go to the table. If I want to select my table now, that's the button I need. So if I click that, you'll notice that my toolbars came on. The one in the bottom allows you to size your table. So now I'm growing my table, and now I can make it narrower if I wanted to. So this little icon, this little one in the corner, allows you to click and drag and make your table pretty much any size you want. Now, from this menu, I'll start right up here, I guess. I'm just going to type some junk in this cell, and I want you just simply to see that if I hit delete, I will delete the contents of that cell, but I don't delete the actual cell. If I want to delete a cell from the layout here, okay, I would come here and I would specify what it is I wish to delete. Now, if you want to delete, usually you want to delete a whole row or a whole column. So it would help to position your insertion point inside that row or column. If you want to select the whole column, put your mouse just over top of it. You'll get this black arrow that I'm getting. And now I have this column selected. Now, coming here to delete and column, this will not only delete the contents of the column, it'll kill the whole column. All right, so same thing with the table. If you want to delete the whole table, all right, I would select the whole table first and then simply come here and say delete table, and then your table will be gone. And I'm just going to hit undo to bring that back. Before you insert a table, I just wanted to remember something here. You remember the rule about make it then make it pretty. If you format something, make it bold, underline, let's say, and hit enter, and then you insert a table, I guarantee you every cell in that table will have bold and underline inside of it. So if for some reason you inadvertently do that to your table, you'd probably want to select your table and then just clear all the formatting. Come back here and just clear all the formatting. And that way everything in your table will be back to normal. So no line spacing, no formatting whatsoever. I've seen this many times. All right, so the make it pretty rule definitely applies when you put a table in someplace. Now, I want to get back to this menu. I want to go back to the layout menu. So we've learned how to delete, and these buttons are great. These are new. So if you want to insert a row above, you simply ask for insert above. All right, and now we've got a brand new row. If you want to insert a row below, okay, insert a column to the right, insert a column to the left. It's never really been easier to work with tables. I love some of these new buttons. They're great. So simply put your mouse where it is you want a new row or a new column, or where you want to delete a row or column, and that will happen for you. A few buttons you need to know about. Now, if I wanted to make this like a big heading for my table, as you would see in like a calendar, let's say, what you would do is you would select all of these cells and you would merge them. You would make them one big cell. So now that's one big cell across which you'd be able to type the month. If you wanted to do the opposite, if you had one big cell and you wanted to make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells, you would come here to split and you say, yeah, give me 6 columns and still one row, and now you've got 6 columns. So they do the opposite, right? One of them puts them all together and one of them splits them up. Handy little tools. I use them all the time. 9 options inside of each cell when it comes to alignment. All right, so now by default, as in a regular document, if you start to type, it'll go top left. So if you type a word here, it is top left. You can change this setting for any cell, all right, or for all the cells. So for this particular one, you want it, you can go top center. You can go top right. You can go middle left, middle middle, middle right, bottom left, bottom middle, bottom right. If you're familiar with the game, the Hollywood Squares, that's the way I like to remember it. All right, so you've got 9 different options to choose from for every single cell. And with your show hide on, you can tell that all of these cells are aligned top left. You can change the text direction in your cell. So you've got 3 different options as far as how they're going to go. So you can get pretty fancy within your cells if you'd like to. Right now, I have a situation where all of my rows are not the same size. And you can also have a situation where all of your columns may not be in the same size. If you wish for them to be the same size again, you would select the whole table and then you'd say distribute rows evenly. Okay, so the word evenly is missing from this little description, but basically it makes all the rows the same height, and then you can make all the columns the same width. So if you want a perfect grid for your table, that's the option that you're looking at there, fast and easy. I'm going to take this table, I'm going to delete the whole thing, and I'm going to show you a different way of putting in a table. We're going to draw it in this time. All right, so we're going to go to Draw Table. Now, when you're drawing a table, always start with the very outside perimeter of your table, all right? Because you really shouldn't add to any side or the bottom, because what you're actually doing is you're putting a table next to or underneath the table. So this is our table. It's a 1-cell table, all right? Now, if you know exactly how many you want to break this into, you'd be able to go to split cells and say I want it to be 6 by 4. Or if you want to design it yourself because you know exactly what you want it to look like, I'm just simply clicking and dragging here is what I'm doing. Clicking and dragging, clicking and dragging, and clicking and dragging. And there, if that's what you wanted your customized table to look like, then you're done doing the drawing. Okay, and you can turn the Draw Table button off and you're no longer drawing that table. Now, after you've drawn your table in, you can select your table, and now I'm going to go, actually you can move your table manually this way, okay, and your table will adjust to your text depending on where you put it within your text. It's somewhat hit and miss. It may take you 2-3 tries to get it exactly where you want, but it does get along with your text in a variety of different ways. You can put it above your text, you can put it inside of your text, put it underneath your text. So you've got a lot of different options as far as how you're going to have your table get along with your text. If you want it centered on the page, I would select the table, okay? Make sure you select the whole table this way. And then you can go back to your Home tab and you can tell it that you want it left aligned, or you want it centered. Now this table is perfectly centered on the document. Okay, what the mistake that I see a lot is people will take a table that's here, and rather than select it this way, they'll do this. Well, I've simply selected the contents of these cells. And if I hit center, I'm only going to be centering the contents of those cells, and I'm not going to be centering the table. So if you want to center a small table, select it this way, and then go back to the Home tab and say Table be centered. That's the fastest, easiest way to do that. You have other properties available to you when you go to your table. So I'm going to go back to the Layout tab here, and then I'm going to go to Properties. All right. So now I was doing it manually, but you're also able to set the wrapping of your table differently. You can do it this way here. But as soon as you click and drag your table somewhere else, it nullifies whatever you've set here. So if you want your table to sit left, center, right, or all around the words, none means don't get along with the text at all. Move it up or move it down. You can change the width of your table here manually and make it just exactly a size. For some reason, you can't make it the exact height that you want. You'd have to use your little sizing note here, which is fine. You can also specify exactly which height you want each row. You can also, and then when you've done the first row, you can go to the next row. Right, so you can do many at a time if you'd like to. You can also set which size you want the columns to be, and then once you've set one, you go to the next. So that's very handy. So you can customize your table to make it exactly the size that you want it to, with the amount of columns, the amount of rows. All right, split the rows. All of these tools are available to you. They're very easy to use. You just need to practice. Draw in a few tables and you're good to go. Some of you may be using tabs to do something to create a look with a document, whereas tables might do a better job for you. Right? When you're typing in any cell, I want you to understand that, as in a document, when you get to the end, it will, first of all, wrap. The text will wrap, and if the cell needs to grow, it will grow. So oftentimes I see people doing resumes. Tables do a pretty good job with resumes. They do a good job with menus. So we're going to talk about the formatting and all of the design features you have for tables in the next lesson. This one's getting kind of long, so I'm going to wrap it up.